Hi, I'm making this video to go over asymmetrical tattoos. I've been getting more questions asked about asymmetrical tattoos, and so I decided to refamiliarize myself with asymmetrical tattoos, and I realized asymmetrical tattoos don't work unless under very specific circumstances. So that, and I highly doubt any mesh body designer has implemented asymmetrical tattoos because it really starts with the mesh body. And here I've made a body. It's just a Linen Lab default body that has been rigged real quick, and I set it up to use asymmetrical for asymmetrical tattoos, and because yeah, the mesh body has to be set up specifically to be able to do asymmetrical tattoos. If it's not, then asymmetrical tattoos simply won't work. Okay. And so, okay, so here we have the mesh body. And let's see, because it all starts with the mesh body designer. And I'm going to click on the left arm, and because I had to set that up so that it's using a different material, or face in Second Life as it's called. So this is on face 0. This is face 3. And down at the legs, that's the left leg I have set up, face 1 and face 2. Okay. So this is set up so that the left arm is set to use the baked left arm. You know, the right arm and the rest of the body, upper body, is set to bake upper. And same thing with the left leg, it's set to bake left leg. And then the rest is set to just bake lower. Okay, so that's one thing. The mesh body designer has to set up their body specifically to use those baking channels. And you can see here I have a purple heart on my left arm and I have a red heart on my right arm. They could have been completely two separate tattoos. They just happened that I just used the heart and I just changed the color in Photoshop to do something really quick. Like in the video I did, this could have been a completely different tattoo. Okay, so how it was supposed to be envisioned to work is that skin designers, here's a skin that I made. You know, they have their 3 slots, and they have the upper and the lower, you know, as usual. And that gets baked, and you can see all this is the white top, bikini top, is actually on the skin. I needed to keep this G-rated, so I had to put some clothes on her. And the same with the lower body. It's just painted on. Okay, so the white is painted on. Okay. If this is a bra, system bra that you see there, and it's, of course, it's on top of the skin. Okay, so how it's supposed to work if the mesh body is set up the way I have it set up here is that, you know, the person wears their regular skin, but then the skin maker has to provide a system universal of the same skin so that when they wear it, this goes on the left arm and this stuff goes on the left leg, providing the skin layer. Okay, so that's what, you know, people would have to wear the system clothing skin, and then they would have to wear the universal tattoo, or not tattoo, universal system clothing. I guess sometimes it's called the universal tattoo, but universal. And then, of course, I have my purple heart that I'm wearing, and it goes on the left arm tattoo. Okay. And everything looks like it's working fine, but it's not. And this is the problem. Okay, there's 2 problems. Okay. One, Bakes on Mesh is supposed to be able so that people can wear their old system skins, you know, or their favorite system skins from years ago, or a favorite system clothing that they wore all those years ago. That because there's some really great texture artists out there who made some wonderful system clothing and system skins from back in the day. And if an avatar is set up to do one arm as a baked left arm, then those skin makers aren't around to provide a system universal for that arm. So mesh body designers have to make a choice. Do I only allow my mesh body to work with skins that are made today moving forward, and that is if the skin makers of today are willing to make a system universal? You know, how many of them don't want to do that? Even though it'd be really easy to do, how many of them don't want to do that? How many of them don't want to go back through their inventory and add a universal? You know, so that's one problem. Plus it makes it more complicated because then people have to wear two. They have to go, I can't just click on wear my skin. They click on wear the skin, and then their one arm is a different color or is missing, and then they have to go, oh, I got to go in there and find that universal skin layer. So it makes it more complicated. And like I said, all those old skins are not usable with that mesh body. And so that's a problem. The other major problem with this, for say somebody did want to go ahead and do it, if you look down here, this is an underwear layer, which is supposed to be the bottom of the panty layer, and it's not showing up over the system universal wearable. In fact, if I come in here and I go jacket and put on this long jacket, you can see it's not going over the arm. Okay, here are the universals, and yeah, we can change the order of the universals here, and yeah, of course there goes the tattoo, goes missing. So if I move that up, there's the tattoo. But the problem is, with this mesh avatar body, we can't use any system clothing. Can't use the jackets. You know, you couldn't use a skirt or pants with this avatar, because it just simply won't go over it, because the system universals are above the highest system clothing layer. It needs to be down just above the skin layer, you know, in order for the system clothing to work. Then the system clothing would work, but we would still have a problem with the system skins. We'd still have that same problem with the system skins of the skin makers. Old skins that people want to wear aren't, the system universal for that skin isn't available. So the only option for mesh avatar makers, designers, would be to have multiple layers of mesh on top of each other. But even that wouldn't work, because if you have one layer set to just the upper body so that it gets the system skin, and then a second layer of mesh on top of that, polygons on top of that, just above the other one, the onion skinned avatar. We're getting back to that, and set that to baked left. Well, if somebody wears a regular tattoo, you know, like that one, which is, oh wait, let's take off the jacket. Okay, so if somebody uses a regular tattoo and the onion-skinned avatar over here, the one on the most inner mesh is set to upper body, it's going to have this tattoo over here. Now, it wouldn't actually be that bad in this particular tattoo because then this tattoo could go on top of it. But how often are you going to have tattoos that are exactly the same? They're just different colors. So even an onion-skinned avatar, so that you can use this regular system skin to skin it, wouldn't really work with tattoos anymore. These wouldn't work anymore. Because even if you had a second layer and set that to the baked left arm, it would just be put on top of the existing tattoo that's already there. You know, from one of these tattoos. So even an onion-skinned avatar will not fix the problem. You know. So my bet is no mesh body designer has implemented using the baked left arm and the baked left leg. It's just it won't work. It's going to cause too many problems with existing tattoos that people want to wear. Because you just be layering a tattoo on top of a tattoo. The only possible solution I see is the only possible solution I can see, and I don't know how much, if it's doable or not, is to have this baked left arm get whatever is to get whichever upper tattoo is set in the skin that they're wearing. You know, in this skin, so that the baked left arm gets the upper tattoo from the skin before the tattoos and others layers are baked onto it. Then you could have your system universal here. We wouldn't need this system universal. We could take that off. We wouldn't need that system universal for the skin layer, and you would just have the tattoo on it. And it'd have to be below all the clothing layers. But you can see here what happens is there's no skin. So if it could get that, but like I said, it has to be this without without the system clothing or tattoos applied to it. It would have to get this texture automatically. It'd have to get that texture automatically, then apply the system universal in the right order, so that the system universals are below the underwear, the shirt layer, the undershirt layer, this is the shirt layer, that's the that's the undershirt layer, has to be below, underneath the skirt layer. It has to be under the pants layer, underneath the panty layer, and then those layers applied on top of it, so that everything works. Then everything would work. So that's the real key, is the baked left arm has to get the upper tattoo skin first, so that it's applied to there before any tattoos are applied. Then the same way with the legs. The legs, for the baked left leg, would have to get the lower tattoo off of the skin before any tattoos or system clothing is applied. And so that the universals, they have to go below the system clothing. It has to be the lowest on the system clothing. So anyway, so that's sort of what I've discovered. I can't say it any other way. It's this way the system is set up right now. I doubt any mesh body designer is using the baked left arm or the baked left leg at all. It just doesn't make any sense for them to use it. There's only very special cases when a skin designer has provided a system universal of the same skin, and it still doesn't work because the system universal is above the clothing, all the other clothing layers, so that it still doesn't work. So I would say to anybody wanting to make asymmetrical tattoos, don't bother. It's not really doable. Unless you just want a tattoo on your left arm, and you're not going to wear any other tattoos, you're not going to wear any system clothing, and it's for a skin that provided a system universal layer for that skin. Unless they provided that, it's, whoops, oh, and see, we also got to get it in the right order. There we go. Got to get in the right order. And we'll take off this tattoo. Unless it's a special, very special use case like that. Okay, so we have a tattoo on one arm, but we can't use any system clothing at all. And we have to make sure that we have a skin that provides a system universal of that same skin. I could have, where's the head tattoo? Hair tattoo, eyes, oh wait, it's probably up here. Yeah, there's the head tattoo. So, so it would be this, and then the head, is what the skin designers would have to provide. So I don't think that's going to happen very often. I don't think there's many skin designers out there who are providing a system universal for an avatar that either, it can't be an onion skinned avatar because you're still going to have the tattoos on there. And it'd be only for tattoos if somebody wants to wear a tattoo on their left arm. Yeah, so Yeah, that's a problem. That's a major problem. And I don't know if it can be fixed. So if I was a tattoo maker, right now I wouldn't even bother with asymmetrical tattoos. They don't work. They work, but they're not set up so that it can actually be viable. It's not viable. The mesh body designers, they may offer I have a couple of mesh bodies. You know, a friend of mine gifted me a Maitreya body, and I bought a slink body. And neither one of those came with a special avatar set up just so that you can get one arm with a tattoo on it. You know, probably because they know that skin makers just aren't going to provide a system universal, and none of the old avatars' skins would work with it at all. So in their eyes, I can see it would just, by providing such an avatar with so many special circumstances that it would have to work on, they're not going to provide it because it's just going to be a headache. People are going to be saying, "Hey, this ain't working. How come I can't use this skin with this tattoo?" Or you know, the tattoo guy provided a system universal tattoo for my left arm, but it's not working. You know, or the tattoo's there, but the skin is missing. You know, they're going to be inundated with questions of how come this isn't working. You know, and then the mesh body designers are going to say, well, the skin you're wearing has to provide a system universal of the upper body or lower body as well in order to put it on there. And then, of course, people are going to contact them and say, well, my system jacket isn't working. You know, or my system shirt, the left arm is missing. The skin's there, the tattoo's there, but the sleeve is missing. You know, they're gonna get this. You know, the sleeve is missing on my jacket. You know, why is it doing that? You know, and so they're gonna get, you know, or one pant leg is missing when I put on my system pants. You know, and even if they do just a half an arm, you'd have a hole in your jacket. So yeah, these are all major problems. So my advice to tattoo makers, don't even bother with that with asymmetrical tattoos. It's no mesh body out there is set up to use them, and nor should they, because it's just going to cause them massive headaches. Even if they try to do an onion skinned avatar approach, they're still going to have tattoos on both left and right, and one tattoo sitting on top of another tattoo. You know, or you tell people you never wear any tattoos or system clothing, just wear the one tattoo on your left arm, the system universal. They're going to get bugged, and all these people saying this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. So yeah, so it either needs to be fixed, or asymmetrical tattoos, they only work under very specific circumstances, and it's not worth it for the mesh body designers to set up a mesh body to work, because it's going to get inundated with too many questions of why this isn't working the way they think it should be working. And so, alrighty, well, that's about it for this video. I'm sorry to bear the bad news, but until I really dug into, you know, how this worked, and it seemed to be working, you know, and it does kind of work, but only if you're not wearing any system clothing, and only if the system skin that you're wearing, they provide a universal of that system skin. And so, yeah, it's just not worth it. So Alrighty, well, that's about it. I just, the only other way to get these to work, I guess, would have multiple layers of mesh on top of each other, and one set to the left and one. It's just and that would still only allow people to use a tattoo on their left arm. Don't wear any other tattoos. And yeah, yeah, that's not good. So already, sorry this video is so long, but yeah, felt like I had to go through enough of it to explain what was going on. See you in the next video.